Hello, everyone. Glad you could be here today. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm certainly having a wonderful day as always, and I'm glad you're here. Really am. We're going to talk today about something that people come to me every single day with. A lot of people come to me with a lot of problems every single day, don't they? And we're talking about sugar cravings. How to beat sugar cravings. Wouldn't that be cool if you knew a way to beat your sugar cravings? So when you get that hankering for a brownie or a cookie, or you're in the store and you go, I'm just going to grab this just a little bit. I'm going to have a treat. How many people use that line? I've worked hard. I'm going to have a treat. I'm going to give you tips that you could use every single day to essentially reboot your brain. Because when you get those sugar cravings, your body wants pleasure. And sugar stimulates the accumbens nucleus in your brain to release dopamine, and dopamine gives you pleasure. And so that's why you want sugar. So what we have to do then is kind of reboot the brain so it doesn't constantly want more. So even though you're eating smart, sugar cravings come in every now and then. I get them. It's okay. It's nothing wrong with getting them. How you deal with it is where the issues are. Now, after all, you never get cravings for things like Brussels sprouts, right? It's kind of weird, right? Because Brussels sprouts, metaphorically speaking, don't stimulate the pleasure centers in your brain, where sugar does. And so your body says, I like Brussels sprouts, or I like beets, or whatever it is, your vegetable du jour. And I like that, and that's cool, and I'm going to have some today, and that's wonderful, but I'm not craving romaine lettuce because of what happens in the brain. Now, the same part of the brain that's stimulated with sugar is stimulated by things like heroin and cocaine. Oh, well, that's interesting, isn't it? So we start going, maybe there's an addiction issue here. And the answer is yes, there is. So we have to address your sugar cravings just like we would any other addiction. Now, genetics could play a role in it, but there's several things that can trigger it. And usually it's when you get high and your body's depleted in nutrients. You're getting high from the sugar. And when your body has enough nutrients, what's cool is you don't get the cravings. Or not as bad, certainly. Because when you're hungry, you're not hungry for food, you're hungry for nutrition. So your body says, okay, I'm hungry, I need some nutrition, but you know what? I'm going to enjoy that sugar even more than I'm going to enjoy those Brussels sprouts. So I think I'm going to start craving sugar. Once you give your body the nutrients that it needs, the cravings go away. And this works with all addictions. I've treated patients throughout the years on just about every addiction known to humanity. And I treat them all the same way. I said, listen, we got to get your brain working normally, and we do that by giving it all the nutrients that it needs. I want to get people on the right diet. Of course, as a chiropractor, I make sure their nervous system is working too, because if the nervous system isn't working, that can throw the body off as well. So we get the nervous system working, we get the diet working. I'll talk about the digestive system because I think I have to talk about it on every show. And we get those things working, the patient is able to deal with their addiction in a much more logical way. Because addiction has nothing to do with logic, by the way. So now you're thinking to yourself, you've been listening to my shows, you read my books, you go to my podcast, you watch my YouTube channel, and you read the ingredients on labels, but every now and then it still hits you. Right? For example, I just spoke to a listener the other day, recently. She's in a hospital, and she knows she has a bad diet. She goes, I know what's wrong. I have a bad diet. And she has low hemoglobin. She has low iron. All the other tests, she did a bunch of tests. They're all negative. And she said, I know what's wrong. I listen to you all the time. I know what you're going to tell me to do. I just don't do it. And I thought, okay, so you're just like every other listener I have then, aren't you? So what we need to do then is consider a challenge. Everything I teach you, I want you to try doing it for 60 days. Try changing your diet. If you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, get to one of my offices if you're local, get to a chiropractor, get the spine checked to make sure you don't have bones out of place pinching nerves. Get on a good diet, start drinking water, take things like Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, and see what happens in 60 days. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, which I am, you'll say, oh, now I get it. Because I hear that every single day. Patients say, now I understand what you've been talking about for the past 5, 10, 15, 20 years. When the nervous system isn't under stress, because pain is stress, we fix that, and then I start putting good food in my body, at least the Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. Those are 2 powders if you're a new listener. And have them on my website, drjoeesposito.com. They're also available on Amazon. And that's the minimum amount of nutrients you should do. And that helps me tremendously when I start having sugar cravings. It doesn't happen often anymore, but when I do, I'll mix up the Super Greens, the essential source. Sometimes I'll take 2 or 3 doses a day if I have to. And then my body gets the nutrients that it needs. So I'm going to give you a bunch of tricks. That's what today's show is going to be about. A bunch of tricks to help you get over your sugar cravings. Number 1, I want you to eat more protein. Protein fills you up. It keeps you satisfied. It crushes your cravings. And it helps the brain function more normally. Because the brain works on something called neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are chemicals that make your brain work. And in your brain, you have a nerve. And then you have a gap between the 2 nerves called a synapse. And then you have another nerve. And they're connected by these synapses. Is that plural? They're connected by these synapses. And the reason we have these synapses, if that's a word, is it makes the nerve impulse travel faster. And the chemicals that are in the synapse are made from proteins. So, folks, don't go anywhere. We got a lot more to talk about. I'm going to open up the lines. If you have a healthcare question, give us a call. The number is 844-44-DR-JOE, 844-44-DRJOE. That'll get you through the studio. And if you have a question, I'll get you on the air maybe. That line, by the way, rings through to my office when I'm not on the air, in case you have a question there. My website, drjoeesposito.com. Hey, folks, don't go anywhere. Tell your friends about the show. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling your friends about the show, by the way, too, because I can tell by our listenership it's growing like crazy. And also tell your friends to like my Facebook page, too, because we send out a lot of cool information on Facebook. I shouldn't say a lot. We send out information about our show topics, about lectures we had. I know I did a lecture this week. Huge crowd. It was really a lot of fun. It was a big expo. And they had other speakers there. When I showed up, it was just packed. I mean, it was just crazy how many people showed up. And it's great. And a lot of people say, hey, listen to you on radio, and I do appreciate you showing up at the live lectures. So check my website. If I have live lectures, come on out. In fact, for that one, they were selling tickets. But if you followed me on Facebook, you would have gotten free tickets. We gave out 500 free tickets, I think. Was it pretty crazy? Ahmad, you have something to say, Ahmad?
Yes. We actually, speaking of Facebook,
yes,
we have a question from your Facebook, actually.
Excellent. Okay, let's do our Facebook question of the week.
That's right. Okay, so this week's question comes from Michelle. She says, hello, I heard a radio ad when driving today. Thought I would give you a try. I'm interested in finding something that can give me some extra energy give me something extra energy for the extra energy for the drive to start when working out again. Weights, resistance, yoga, walking, and get daily chores done. I am 50 years old, a female, battling fibromyalgia symptoms, mitral valve prolapse, irritable bowel, insomnia, anxiety, headaches, just to name a few. What do you suggest for people like me? Thanks for your time. I will look at your site and on Amazon as well.
It's Michelle, right?
Yes, Michelle.
Okay, Michelle, wow. What a little challenge you put in front of me here. Well, it kind of ties into what we're talking today. You want to know how to get your mojo back, basically, how to get your energy back to start working out and do housework. And so many people have that. Everybody says tomorrow, mañana, as they say in Mexico, mañana. And you think about it, you think, I'm going to start working out, and this is great, and maybe you'll buy equipment. And it's funny, if you ever go to a garage sale or an estate sale, you never have to buy workout equipment. They always have it for sale because everyone has the same thoughts you have, Michelle. I want to get my energy back. I don't know how to do it. So number 1, we got to cut out the sugar because sugar just makes you crash. It gives you a burst of energy and then you crash. So I know that's hard to do because we said sugar stimulates the dopamine receptor sites in the brain. So step number 1, we're going to cover a lot of it in the next hour and a half worth of shows we're going to cover. But you got to get the sugar out of the house. Because if it's in the house, chances are you're going to eat it. Because if you're anything like me, and I think you are, it's going to be there and you're going to think, well, I'm just going to have one cookie or I'm just going to have that one bite of cake. No, you have to stop. Just like a drug addict or an alcoholic. If they have sugar, if they have alcohol or drugs, whatever, they're off the wagon. In AA, you can't have a drink. If you have a drink, you're off the wagon, you start over again. That's how you have to treat sugar. I just can't have it anymore. I'm not allowed. And it can't be in the house because you're going to be tempted. And it's not about you having good willpower. It's about your pleasure centers overriding logic. Everyone has done something stupid in the name of pleasure. And usually, well, not usually, but many times you think back and go, I really shouldn't have done that. That was dumb. Second thing is going to cover a lot of that. Eating more protein is going to be great. Now, when it comes to protein, of course, I don't do animal products. And some people are funny. I have patients come in all the time and they say, well, Dr. Joe, I didn't want to come see you because I knew you were going to make me become a vegetarian. And never In all my years on radio and lecturing and television, I was a news correspondent for a long time. Never have I ever asked anyone to become a vegetarian. I'll suggest it. I'll tell them why it's a good idea. But I always say, whatever you decide to do is up to you. I don't argue with patients. I've learned that over the years. So I'm not going to ask you to do anything. I'm just going to advise you what to do, and then whatever you decide to do is up to you. So plant-based proteins are the proteins I prefer because they're easier to digest. And when I say plant-based proteins, things like nuts and seeds, lentils, split peas, regular English peas. Now, here's something I want you to consider, too. Because in the Atlanta area, I just saw the statistic, 1 in 3 active adults, because it's a family show, I'll try to, you know what they're active in, have herpes. 1 in 3. Now, that's pretty high, some of the highest ratings in the country. And what happens is many times the viruses will lay dormant. Now, there's over 100 different herpes virus, by the way. You have herpes simplex, or you have genital herpes. You can have shingles. Chicken pox is a form of herpes. So there's over 100 different types. Statistically, everyone has some type of herpes virus in them. But if you're sensitive and you do things that are high in arginine, like peanuts or sunflower seeds, chocolate, it can actually stimulate the herpes outbreak. So if we're going to do a lot of proteins and you start getting out these outbreaks, start thinking sunflower seeds, peanuts, and chocolate could be causing the outbreaks, and that's why you got to be careful with that. But I digress. Beans. All these things are high in protein, and they make you feel full. And things like beans are high in fiber. And this is going to be the key to helping you get your mojo back, getting your energy back. When you eat fiber, high fiber foods, the fiber slowly pushes the food through the colon, and you get a slow release of sugar throughout the day. And this is ideal for diabetics, by the way, but it's ideal for everyone. And so you get this slow release of sugar throughout the day, and you go, oh, I feel good today. Now I feel good now. I feel good now. And you're going to have that energy. When you eat the sugar by itself without the fiber, it gets absorbed, it raises your blood sugar, it crashes, and then you get tired. The other thing I want you to consider, Michelle, is water. Most of us are dehydrated. And there's a part of your brain that controls hunger, and there's a part of your brain that controls thirst when you're a baby. As we become adults, those two parts of the brain grow together. And when they grow together, you have a real tough time distinguishing between hunger and thirst. So before every meal, I want you to have a 8-10 glass of water. And then maybe 10-15 minutes before the meal. You will be amazed how that helps your cravings and also helps your hunger. So the same thing with sugar cravings. When you start getting a craving, you got to drink the water. There's also a supplement I'm going to suggest. I seem to talk about this supplement a lot. It's called Gymnema. And Gymnema, we carry it at our offices. Gymnema helps stabilize your blood sugar throughout the day, and you get a lot less cravings. In fact, one of my secretaries said to me the other day, she said, Dr. Joe, I started taking a Gymnema like you told me. She goes, and I'm finding now I don't have to put sugar in my coffee. She goes, I know I shouldn't be drinking the coffee, but I don't have to put the sugar in the coffee anymore. And then if you are having an attack, here's my rule. This is for you, Michelle, and everybody else. Take a Gymnema tablet and chew on it. Doesn't taste good, but that's not my concern. Chew on it, swallow it, then have something sweet. And that sweetness it doesn't have any flavor. It totally loses its sugar flavor, and that helps you reboot your brain. And so Gymnema is the supplement, like I said. And with any supplement, you always want to get the best. And so don't go out and try to get cheap stuff and say, well, Dr. Joe said Gymnema. Oh, here's a cheap version of it. I'm going to use this one. My grandfather, I have in my new book, Prescription for Extreme Health, I have a quote from my grandfather, my mother's father. He said, Yosef, always buy the best. It's always cheaper. I wouldn't want discount brain surgery. I wouldn't want discount chiropractic care. I wouldn't want discount supplements. I want the best because this is my body. And I'll find ways to make it happen if I have to. So water, more protein, fiber foods, and get away from the sugar. Start there, and I think you'll be amazed, Michelle, how quickly you start to get your mojo back. And that's for everybody. Folks, got to go to a break. A lot more to talk about upcoming on how to beat your sugar cravings. Now, if you have a healthcare question, you can send it to me through Facebook, but I prefer you actually call me while I'm on the air, 844-44-Dr. Joe, 844-44-Dr. Joe. And also my website, drjoeesposito.com. You can send me questions through the website. You can order Dr. Joe Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, my books. We have archived radio shows, videos there. It's a really good website. Hey, it's drjoeesposito.com. Tell your friends about the show. We'll be right back. Tell your friends about the show. Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Do appreciate you taking time out of your day. And we're talking today about a hot topic Hot topic is how to beat your worst cravings, because we all get them sometimes, some people more than others, and a lot of folks just give in. Every day they think, well, I deserve a treat. I need a little snack. This it's just going to be just one cookie, and the problem is you can't stop. Because if you could stop, you wouldn't be having cravings to begin with. See how that works out? So one of the things you could do is eat more protein. Of course, I recommend plant-based proteins because plant-based proteins, I think, are better for you. And the kicker is they have fiber. Animal proteins don't have fiber. So when you're eating a plant-based protein, things like beans have carbohydrates with them, but the fiber is going to slowly push the food through your colon and give you a good release of energy. And Sam's one of our callers, and Sam, we're going to get to that, and also Gwen. That's going to answer both of your questions almost. Got to drink a lot of water. The water is going to be key because the more you drink, the less hungry you're going to be. Most of you out there are dehydrated, and I get that way too sometimes. And like the other day, I was cleaning out my garage. I have a little storage room in there, and I just left it for a couple hundred years. And I finally got into it, and boy, what a bunch of junk I threw out. But anyway, I started getting a little weak, and I started getting a little anxious, and I thought, I'm hungry. I should eat something. I wasn't hungry. I was thirsty. Had a big glass of water, 5-10 minutes, bam, I was back to work again. So I really want you to consider that you're not drinking enough water. And if you're drinking things that are diuretics, like sodas or coffees, you're dehydrating yourself, making the problem worse. So it's really about the water, not about just drinking anything else. It's got to be plain old water. I gave a lecture the other day, and a fellow at the front desk says, what do you drink aside? Just water. And I said, well, you can have water, you can have seltzer, you can have herbal teas. I said, how many more choices do you need? How many things do you drink? He thought for a second. Well, I drink soda, I drink coffee. I said, yeah, so there's 2 things. I'm giving you 3. So that solved the problem right there. You do lemonade. Lemonade is awesome, by the way. And if you make your own lemonade, even better. Try to get organic lemons, of course, and add a little bit of stevia and some water or some seltzer. Bam. That is so refreshing. And the lemon juice is actually very good for you. Let's go to the callers. We got lots of callers here. First one is a little interesting. Greg, how can we make your day better?
Hey, Dr. Joe. How you doing today?
I'm glad you called.
Hey, I got a question.
Go ahead.
Thank you. My wife is suffering from a lung infection, and the initials are MAC. They call it MAC.
Yeah,
it's some type of
Mycobacterium avium?
Yes, sir. It's microbacteria. And they've got her on a cocktail of drugs, 3 drugs. It's rifampicin and ethambutol, and she takes an antibiotic, azithromycin,
Sure.
and she's got to be on this for 2 or 3 years. And I was wondering if there's any other way to treat this. The side effects of these drugs are absolutely horrible.
Well, that's the downside. Yeah, when you have infections, they give you things that kill off the good bacteria and the bad bacteria, and now you're more susceptible to other problems. Now, with infections like MAC, Mycobacterium avium, it usually occurs in people that have a compromised immune system. So she already had a weak immune system, right? Most people that are not immune compromised don't get this, so that's why nobody really knows about it. But overall, you want to keep the immune system strong. So a couple of things I wanted to consider. Number 1, stop all, ties in very nicely today, sugar. Sugar weakens the immune system. My new book, Prescription for Extreme Health, I talk about that. And I think the number, if I remember the numbers correctly, a white blood cell usually kills about 14 pathogens before it dies itself. If you eat a can of soda, what's that, 9 teaspoons of sugar? Which is, people do that all the time. That same white blood cell can kill 1 pathogen before it dies. So it's essentially making your immune system 14 times weaker just by drinking a can of soda. Now, several hours later, your immune system will try to get back on track again, but in that time, that's what my concern is. And most people eat sugar and then eat more sugar and then eat more sugar. So she's got to cut out the breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pasta, sugar. It's got to stop. Second thing is Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. I used to get sick. I remember being a kid, never getting well throughout the winter. I'd get a cold. I'd start getting a little better. I'd get a second cold. I'd get a third cold. I'd get a fourth cold. And finally, when the warm weather came, I stopped getting colds. Once I straightened out my diet, and I got chiropractic care, because chiropractic care, we can do studies on this. We adjust the patient, and we can see their white blood cells become more active. So we get the nervous system working. We get her off the sugar, get her on things like Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. And then for her, I would probably do a customized plan with things like echinacea, pau d'arco, olive leaf extract, and I'd get her on some really good natural antibiotics that are also antiviral, because the antibiotics aren't antiviral. And once we do that, hopefully she'll get strong enough that she can then come off the medication. I can't take her off the medication but I can get her strong
Sure.
enough that hopefully she won't need it.
Okay, so she could actually do this program with you as she's taking the prescription drugs, and then
Absolutely.
maybe get off the prescription drugs a little bit sooner.
Right. I'd never take people off drugs. I always work with their primary physicians, and we talk, and we work it out, and we say, okay, how about now? How's the blood pressure? It's doing better. Let's see if we can cut back. So we work as a team.
Okay.
Yeah, we co-manage tons of patients. So, yeah, we'd love to work with her.
Huh. Okay, well, great. Well, that sounds great.
I look forward to meeting her.
Making them. Okay,
Thanks
terrific.
a lot. Bye-bye. All right. So, Gwen. You there, Gwen?
Yes, I'm here. How
Hi.
are you, doctor?
I'm so happy you called. How can we make your day better?
Basically, I was just thinking about type 2 diabetes, and a lot of physicians, and there's a lot of things that are being advertised for meds that can help lower the A1C. Now, based upon what you just said, which is very interesting about the plant protein, if you put that regimen together, is there a possibility that you can lower that A1C and that you will never be in the range where you are threatened with either pre-diabetic
Right, yeah.
scores?
Well, it was funny. Many years ago, I was a TV consultant on one of the local news stations, and I did a report that was in the American Diabetic Journal, and it said if you eat, I think the numbers were right, 68 to 72 grams of fiber a day, you can reduce or eliminate the need for most medications for type 2 diabetics. And an endocrinologist called up the station, and he was just livid. This guy's just a chiropractor. He's not an endocrinologist. He doesn't know what he's talking about, on and on and on and on. So I called the guy back. This is even before Facebook and the internet. And I called him up, and I didn't get a message, but I got his fax number, and I faxed him a copy of the article that was from his journal, from the Diabetic Journal. And I said, please call me. Let's discuss this. Never heard from him again. So the chances are, yes, if you get yourself on a high-fiber diet and you get yourself on a more plant-based diet, the chances of getting well are extremely high. Okay?
Thank you so
Thanks,
very
Gwen.
much.
Folks, if you have a healthcare question, 844-44-Dr. Joe, my website, lots of good information, order products there, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. Hey, tell your friends about the show. We'll be right back. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate your time. We're talking today about how to beat those pesky little sugar cravings that we all get. And it's a lot of things you can do, actually, and a lot of things you're doing are actually making it worse. And one of the things you're doing that makes it worse is giving in to the craving. Because just like an alcoholic, you have one drink, you want another and another and another. And I always joke, I said, I can't eat a cookie. I can eat a box of cookies, but I can't eat a cookie. Because once those pleasure centers in your brain kick in, you want more. We'll play maybe a little more. Donna Summer, more. Can't remember. No? I know. Ahmad?
You got me on that one. I don't know.
Okay, look that one up.
Okay.
For me. Get on that right away. Okay, guys. It's so great having Ahmad here. He just do things, you know. So I need one of you around every part of my life. I just do things. So anyway, talking about beating your cravings here and praising Ahmad's great work. Try to be careful about when you eat. So if you start out your day, and I recommend, and some people can skip breakfast, some people can't. But when you do eat, what I usually do is I have Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source first thing in the morning. I mix it up with coconut milk or almond milk, actually whatever on sale. People always ask me, which one do you drink? So I drink the one that's on sale. And I'll mix it up. I put it in a jar and shake it up because that gives you the nutrients that your body needs to get going for the day. It's a complete multivitamin. It's prebiotics, probiotics. It's the equivalent of about 10 servings of raw fruits and vegetables, and it doesn't have sugar in it. So if you're drinking juice, in fact, I was in a store the other day, and they had a buy one, get one free on carrot juice and these other juices and I thought, wow, that's really great. And I looked at it. There was so much sugar. Because what happens is if you eat a carrot has fiber in it. And it slowly pushes the sugar through your colon. Celery has fiber in it. Celery doesn't have a lot of sugar. But carrots, beets, even fruit. When you juice it, you're just drinking pure sugar. Not a good idea. And that sugar just spikes into your blood, and it really gets those cravings going. So you got to be careful about doing things like juice. So Super Greens and Essential Source, the Essential Source, gives you the raw fruits and vegetables. We take the water out at a very low temperature, and with that, we take out the sugar. So that's how I start my day, and then I have usually a protein snack. And when I say a protein snack, a couple of handfuls of nuts, hummus. I'm a huge hummus fan. In my first book, Prescription for Eating Right for the Health of It, we have a bunch of recipes in the back of the book, and one of them is for hummus, and it's so easy to make. In fact, one of my doctors, she's vegetarian, and I made some for her the other day, and I gave it to her, and she goes, oh, my God. She goes, this is like a gazillion times better than the stuff I buy. I said, it's so much cheaper, it's easy to make, and it was better because it didn't have those preservatives in it. And so something like hummus, and I'll just wrap it in lettuce leaves. You don't have to, put it in crackers. You don't have to have it on bread. Wrap it in some lettuce leaves. Use carrots, cucumbers, as chips, and do it that way. I know this sounds weird to a lot of you, but once you start doing this, you're going to be amazed because you're going to start feeling so much better. And if you're not eating enough fiber, your bowels should move, by the way, 2 to 3 times a day. If your bowels aren't moving 2 to 3 times a day, you're not getting enough fiber. And that's plant-based foods again. So I have something called Dr. Joe's Intestinal Cleanser. It's on my website as well. And it's a great product, relatively inexpensive. And I give that to people to try to jumpstart their bowels. Then I get them on a high plant-based, high-fiber diet until it gets normal, and then I take them off the intestinal cleanser. Super Green's an essential source. Hopefully I'll be able to take it every day for the rest of my life, and I think you should too. And somebody asked me the other day in one of my lectures, is it okay for kids? Oh, yeah. And it's crazy when people get their kids on this, the kids calm down, they focus better, their grades improve because they're getting nutrients that so many kids just don't get. And a little trick for kids is take a frozen banana, or maybe for you too, mix it with some coconut milk, ramen milk, put it in a blender, whip it up. Kids love it. It's a smoothie. Let's go back to the callers. If you have a question, 844-44-Dr. Joe, DRJOE, and that number rings through to my office when I'm not here on the air. Sam, how can we make your day better?
Hey, how you doing, Dr. Joe?
Very happy.
Well, I have a question about prostate. I have a high PSA and higher than normal anyway. So I was trying to find out what's some good tips, diets to lower my PSA because I'm, that sort of thing.
Sure. Okay, well, we talked about fiber. That's why I kind of said I was joking with you about that. But the prostate and the bowels sit right next to each other. And if the bowels get any pressure backed up at all, that puts pressure on the prostate. So one of the things we have to do is make sure the bowels are moving 2 to 3 times a day, easy and quick, so that you don't get that mechanical pressure on the prostate. Second thing we have to look at is the nerves in the low back. The nerves in the low back control the colon, sex organs, and bladder, including the prostate. So if we have a pinched nerve in the low back, it can be affecting the function of the prostate. Do you have any low back pain?
No.
Okay, good. All right. 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. So you can have a pinched nerve and not know it. I mean, you don't feel your blood pressure, your cholesterol. You don't feel your prostate, really, usually. So that's going to be helpful as well. The other thing is to use it. I know this sounds weird, but the more we use the prostate, if you understand what I'm saying, because this is a family show, the better off you're going to be because the prostate has to be worked. And then as far as supplements go, alkalizing the system is going to be the key. So cutting out the animal proteins is huge. I feel like I'm really picking on animal proteins today, but I've countless patients, we get them off the animal proteins, and the numbers drop dramatically for the prostate because they're real strong acids and they irritate the prostate. And then if we need to, we can put together a whole prostate protocol. Saw palmetto, I've seen it work wonders, but make sure you get a good quality one. Don't go to the big box store and get the cheap one. Get the really good saw palmetto. That should help tremendously.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm doing that, and I've taken a lot of animal. For example, I don't eat beef. I don't eat pork.
Okay, good.
Matter of fact, only thing I'm dwindling down. I'm not a vegetarian, but I'm very close. I mean, I eat a little turkey, that sort of thing. That's kind of where I'm at now, but all the other stuff is gone.
Okay,
but
well,
I still have a higher PSA.
Make sure it's organic. How old are you?
I'm 51.
Oh, yeah, you're just a young kid then. I would probably get you on some good supplements. If you call my office, we can put together a protocol for you and get you on some supplements then specifically for the prostate. There's things like Prostex. There's a couple of things I would put you on. And then just try to get a lot more vegetables in the body. And celery is really good for people like you. It alkalizes the system. Spinach alkalizes the system.
I love spinach.
Oh, perfect then. So those are
eating quite a bit, actually. Mm-hmm.
But, well, there you go. See, so I think with you, Sam, it's going to be real easy because you're already doing a lot of the things. Sometimes I have to beat people up to just give up their diet sodas. But you sound like you're already more than halfway there. It makes my job a whole lot easier. So, give us a call during the week. We'll put together a protocol for you.
I will. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Sam. And the number, 844-44-Dr. Joe, you can call right now, and we can hopefully get your questions on the air. And that number rings through to my office when I'm not on the air. And I did say earlier, like me on Facebook, follow me on Facebook. It's Facebook.com/Dr. Joe Esposito. And we send out cool stuff, like we sent out free tickets to a lecture I did last week. 454 was the last count of free tickets that we gave out. So we give you nice stuff on Facebook, too, so it's always good to like that. So we're talking today about beating your cravings. And another thing I like to do with my patients is make them keep a journal. And I'm going to have to go to break now. When we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to write down what you're eating and how that's going to dramatically affect what you eat. If you have a healthcare question, give us a call, 844-44-Dr. Joe. My website, drjoeesposito.com. Super Greens, Essential Source, my books, those are also on Amazon. Some people have Amazon accounts, a little easier for them. 844-44-Dr. Joe or drjoeesposito.com. Hey, folks, do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about the show. So here's a chance. Call them up, text them, and we'll be right back. And hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate you taking time out of your day. And we're talking today about some life hacks. I love that. Life hacks. That's a new word. It's fun as we go through your life. You learn these new words, and hacks is a new word. Life hacks on how to beat your sugar cravings. How to beat really any cravings, but mostly sugar's the one that does it the most. And we'll give you a lot of tips on what you need to do all day, every day to stop them. Because once you start, if you're like me, you can't stop. And so one of the things I do with my patients is I have them write down everything they eat for a couple of days. And we do this to all our patients. And the reason we do this is because I want to make sure that they're getting the best possible care that they can. And in our office, we give them chiropractic care. My doctors are amazing chiropractors. I'm so proud of every one of them. And we can give them the best chiropractic care in the world. But if they're not fixing the body chemically, they won't be getting all the results that they could be getting. So when it comes to health, you have to have a normally functioning nervous system, a normally functioning digestive system, and good nutrition. And so when it comes to nutrition, that's something you need to manage. Chiropractic care, pulling your stomach away from your diaphragm in case you have acid reflux or heartburn, usually very easy to do, and we do it in our offices all day, every day. However, you have to take control. You need to help us if you want to get full results. Now, some people choose not to. I've had patients come in my office and say, Dr. Joe, I have absolutely no interest whatsoever in learning anything about taking care of myself from a nutritional standpoint. Okay, we'll just treat you with chiropractic care. We can massage your stomach away from the diaphragm to help the acid reflux and the heartburn, and just go on your way. Most people want to get totally well. So one of the tricks we do is we have you write down everything you eat. When you write down everything you eat, you finally have an awareness. And just about 100% of the time when I sit down with the patient to go over their diet diary, they'll look at me and they'll say, Dr. Joe, this wasn't a good week. I hear it all the time. And then I laugh and I say, everybody says that. And they said, yeah, but it was, and then they fill in the blank. A party, a birthday, a graduation, a retirement, whatever, and so we blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear the blah, 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 blahs. I want to teach you how to do this all day, every day. Because it's a lot more fun to be healthy than to be sick. So keeping a journal is going to be great. Studies have shown that writing everything down can help you double your fat loss. So something as simple as writing it down, lose twice as much weight. Wouldn't it be amazing if I had a pill that I could sell you? And I'll say, listen, Bob, I know you want to lose some weight, and I'm going to sell you this pill, and you're going to lose twice as much weight doing exactly what you're doing right now. Oh my gosh, that would be great. Well, here's a way to do it, because you're going to write down everything you eat, and you're going to say, oh, I forgot that I had those cookies that the girls were selling because they were trying to raise money for their troop, and I forgot that it was Tom's birthday and we all had a slice of cake. So writing it down is a real simple thing. So just keep track of it. If you don't know how to do that, go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, and under patient forms, we have a diet diary. And you can print up 1,000 of them. It's free. And start writing down what you eat. Now, if you have specific health issues, if you have headaches or numbness or tingling or anxiety, what I want you to do is in the margins, write down how you feel about an hour after each meal. And wow, I had diet soda and I got a headache. And then I had diet soda again and I got a headache. And then you can help diagnose your own problems in many cases. So writing down is going to be a great thing. Journaling is awesome. And again, we have it right on our website. You can print up the form if you want to. Anything will work. I don't care what you write it on, but it's a form that has breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snacks. How many times you go to the bathroom, that's important too. Because you think, well, I go to the bathroom on a regular basis. And then if you write down, you go, wow, I only went once today or twice today. And twice is okay. Once is not enough. None at all is really bad. And that's when we got to do things to get the bowels moving. It could be a pinched nerve in the low back, because the nerves in the low back control your back, hips, legs, knees, and ankles, but they also control your colon, sex organs, and bladder. So many times we'll adjust patients, and the colon, sex organs, and bladder return to normal function. Sometimes we get them on Dr. Joe's intestinal cleanser. That's on my website. It's a really inexpensive product. It works great. Take one pill, see how the bowels work the next day. If not working, then take 2. If not working, then take 3 on the third day. Don't take more than 3. That's my rule. I had a patient take 6 one time, and she was not happy with me. Let's go back to the callers. We got lots of callers at 844-44 Joe. You may be one of them. Maybe you have a question. 844-44 Joe. Ronald, how can we make your day better?
Hey, Dr. Joe, love your show, man. I spread the word at every opportunity I can.
You're my new best friend, Ron.
I heard you with the caller a second ago talking about juicing and how the sugar gets pushed through too fast without the fiber.
Yes.
Is that just with juicing like fruits and stuff that has a lot of sugar, or is vegetable juice same thing?
Vegetable juice rocks because vegetables, the cell wall of the vegetable is made of cellulose. We as humans don't produce the enzyme called cellulase to break down the cellulose. So we have to get the cells in the vegetables to burst open. And there's 3 ways we can do it. One is chewing, which is good, mechanically bursts it open. Heating it, because the water inside the cell boils and then bursts open the cell, but then you destroy some of the nutrients. Or juicing. So juicing is the ideal way to do it because you're breaking down all those cells. But I don't want you to do the fruit, just the vegetables. If you have to add maybe an apple to a bunch of vegetables to make it a little more palatable, that's fine. But yes, juicing is awesome when it comes to that. That's why I make Dr. Joe's Essential Source. We juice the fruits and vegetables, take the water and the sugar out, so it's powdered fruits and vegetables. And so that's why I make that, because it's a lot cheaper than juicing and a lot easier. But yes, juicing veggies is fine.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you, sir.
Appreciate the call. Folks, if you have a healthcare question, lines are open, 844-44 Dr. Joe. My website, drjoeesposito.com. You can get Super Greens, Essential Source, my books. Send me questions through the website. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. And if you want to make an appointment, if you're local, or even if you're not local, you can make appointments through my website as well, drjoeesposito.com. 844-44 Dr. Joe is the number here. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling your friends as well. It's always fun when I'm on the air. I can watch people just like my page on Facebook. It's just bam, 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 bam. And it's great to do that because we do giveaways on Facebook, which is kind of cool. We gave away, like I said, 400 and some odd tickets last week. So it's kind of, sometimes you get free stuff. So why not like it? And we send out some good information on there. And Ahmad, you're looking at me, which means?
We have another Facebook question.
All right, give us our Facebook question.
All right, this one comes from Beth. She says, I love, love, love your show.
Oh, she's brilliant.
Yes.
We love Beth then, right?
Smart woman already. I've been trying to locate the supplement for sugar cravings for a month now, and you talked about it on your show. Could you please spell the new Gema? And do you sell it on your website? I looked for it, but since I don't know how to spell it, I can't put it in the search window. Thanks, Beth.
We like Beth. All right, Beth. It's Gymnema, Gymnema. So Gym, like working out the gym, Gymnema. We do have it at we use a company called Standard Process. If it's not a product that I personally manufacture, we use a company called Standard Process, and I like them. And they've got what I consider some of the best Gymnema in the world. So if you call the office or send me an email through the website, drjoeesposito.com. If you call the office, just ask for Kayla. She's my right-hand man when it comes to supplements. We can get that for you. What Gymnema does, in case you're just tuning in, it's a supplement that helps stabilize your blood sugar so that you don't have sugar cravings. So many times when diabetics come in the office, that's one of the supplements I'll put them on. And also, if you can take it every day, whether you're diabetic or not, and it helps with the sugar cravings. Now, if you are having an attack and you can't control yourself, what I want you to do is chew one of the Gymnema tablets. And it's so much fun. I do this in the office a lot. In fact, I think we have some Gymnema in the office. So if you come in, if you have something sweet with you, we'll give you a tablet, chew on it. And it's amazing. You eat something sweet, it has no flavor. And so now we have to train your brain to think, okay, when I eat this, it has no flavor, so there's no sense in me eating it. So you may have to do it a few times to retrain your brain. Because your brain knows if I eat something sweet, my nucleus accumbens get stimulated, my dopamine gets released, and I get high. So your brain says, ooh, I like this, I'm getting high from it. We can untrain your brain by saying, okay, every time I eat cake, it doesn't taste very good, so now I really don't want to eat cake anymore. So it does work. It works really well. So that's Gymnema, Beth, Gymnema. But thanks for your questions. And folks, again, please like me on Facebook, Dr. Joe Esposito, Facebook/Dr. Joe Esposito. And we send out lots of good information there as well. And if you have questions, you can always send them through my website, drjoeesposito.com, and I can answer them. The number here at the studio, 844-44 Dr. Joe. And that number rings through to my office when I'm not on the air. Let's go. Let's take some callers. We got a lot of show notes, but we can take this. June, how can we make your day better?
Hi there. I have had for about the past 8 days a sensation right underneath the sternum of. It started out as just a very uncomfortable feeling of sort of fluctuating between pain and fullness.
Uh-huh.
And for the first 3 nights of it, I would wake up in the middle of the night feeling like food was going to come up.
Oh, yes. Okay, got it.
But that subsided. That went away. I thought that drinking hot herbal teas was helping. I didn't know if something was stuck in my esophagus or my stomach and it needed to be dissolved. But it has gotten better. I just am wondering why it hasn't completely gone away and what I might be doing wrong.
Yeah. If you go to my website, the #1 article, it's downloaded on my website. It's on GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, GERD. And so what it sounds like you have is the makings or a full-blown hiatal hernia. The stomach sits below a sheet of muscle called your diaphragm. There's a hole in the diaphragm called the lower esophageal sphincter. And that sphincter opens, food drops into the stomach, the sphincter closes, you digest food and pass it on. What you're explaining to me is classic, the stomach pushing up through the esophageal sphincter. And in our office, we do this, I would probably say 85% of our patients. We have to massage the stomach down away from the diaphragm to get the stomach to relax and to close that lower esophageal sphincter. And it works wonders because not only do you have your fullness feeling, your stomach's job is to break proteins into amino acids, and amino acids become neurotransmitters in your brain. So when this goes on for long periods of time, you'll see anxiety, I see ADD, ADHD, depression. When we fix the stomach, not only does the fullness feeling go away, but your brain starts working properly. Then the last thing, well, I could do a whole 2-hour lecture on this, June, but the acid can come up into your esophagus and can lead to things like esophageal cancer. So it's a real serious thing you want to fix.
Wow, yeah. Well, actually, my mother has a hiatal hernia.
Oh, well, there you go.
And has had it for years. So I'm wondering, I know she has very poor posture. Is that a part of it, or is it more what I'm eating, or is it a genetic predisposition?
I don't think it's genetic because so many people have it. So I mean, I see people, every day with it. I have it. When mine acts up, I start getting acid reflux. My heart races. My blood pressure skyrockets. I'll grab one of my doctors. I'll adjust the spine, of course, make sure the nerves are working properly because as a chiropractor, everybody should get that checked. And then we pull the stomach away from the diaphragm, and instantly my heart palpitations go away, my blood pressure drops, the fullness feeling goes away. And then for people like me and you, June, we just have to eat less food. Because if we're eating big meals, it's going to make the problem worse. So smaller meals are going to work real well for that.
Okay, great.
Okay, thanks so much for the call, June. All right, we love your callers. You guys are awesome. So we're talking today about beating cravings. And a lot of things we have to start looking at in your life and start looking for your trigger foods. Even too much of a healthy food can be unhealthy. And with June's case, my case, if we eat too much food, volume can push the stomach up into the diaphragm. And then you get the gas, the bloating, the burping. Those are all signs we need to pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. We also want to check the nerves from the spine because the nerves from the spine control everything. So if we just work on your small intestine, large intestine, stomach, you may not be getting the full results. And when patients come into my office, oftentimes I'll ask them, what are your goals? What do you want to do? I want to get well. Okay, then we're going to fix the nervous system, the digestive system, and your diet. That's what you need. You need those 3 things to get optimum health. Most people do it. Some people think they know better than me. I'm okay with that. Because eventually what happens is they'll come back in my offices 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years sometimes. And we'll reevaluate them. Maybe we'll take new x-rays, and we'll show them the old x-rays and show them the new x-rays. And inevitably they go, it's so much worse. And I said, yeah, I told you it was going to get worse. I didn't lie to you. Very calmly look at them and say, I told you if you don't fix this, it's going to deteriorate. And when it does, they're always shocked. And it always blows my mind that they were shocked. But anyway, I digress. So start looking for your trigger foods. Start thinking, well, gosh, I have to have chocolate every day. Or you start craving chocolate. Or you go out and shop for chocolate. Or you start thinking about chocolate. Whatever your trigger food is, that's the one thing you really have to stay away from. Because even though a lot of people say they eat well, because I see this all the time, well, Dr. Joe, I have a great diet. Okay, let's have you fill out the diet diary that's on my website and bring it in. And then we'll discuss it. And if you're not in the listening area, by the way, we can always do this over the phone if we have to, or even Skype it if you want to. See my pretty face. you don't want to Skype, trust me. And we can go over it with you. And then I say, they eat a good diet. And I look at their diet, and I was like, are you kidding me? What do you consider healthy? And then we have to say, all right, let's rein them in a little bit. Let's get you on some good food. Let's get you on things like Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. And then I customize nutrition plans for everyone as well. But start thinking if you have a trigger food, you got to get that trigger food out of your life. because that's the thing that's setting you off. Sometimes people are your triggers, right? But we're talking about food today, not people. We'll do a show on people soon. Folks, if you have a healthcare question, give us a call, 844-44-Dr. Joe. My website, drjoeesposito.com. You can get Super Greens, Essential Source, my product, my books. Also on Amazon, too. If you have an Amazon account, some folks find it a little easier to use Amazon to order the products. Hey, do me a favor. Tell your friends about the show. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. Hey, thanks for listening. Glad you could make it. Always nice spending a little time with you. Talking today about beating your cravings. Everybody's got those little pesky cravings and what to do about it. Now, start thinking about healthier alternatives when the cravings come in. So if you love white potatoes, for example, I certainly do. Maybe you want to try sweet potatoes, which really aren't potatoes, by the way, but try a sweet potato. Quinoa, Quinoa, is a good substitute for white rice. Now, you can also take some cauliflower and put it through a food processor and chop it up as rice, and you can serve that as well. Now, it doesn't taste exactly the same, but it certainly gives you a good substitute. Quinoa is nice, high in protein. It still has some carbohydrates in it, but quinoa is great too, and you might want to try it. If you ever tried it, it's kind of cool. When you cook it, it's kind of neat. It's like these little, like white pebbles almost. And when you cook it, it almost becomes see-through, which is kind of neat, but has a real nice flavor to it, nice taste, good high in fiber, so it makes you feel full, which is important. And also fats. Fats make you feel full. And so many times when you start having cravings for sugar, if you just have, let's say, a tablespoon or even a teaspoon if you want to, but a tablespoon would be fine, of coconut oil, extra virgin organic coconut oil. And that many times satisfies those cravings. So coconut oil should be in your house. Everyone should have it. Always do organic. And you could use it on your skin. You can use it internally. It's just amazing. It has so many different uses, and you can try that. It's pretty amazing how well it works. Going to take another call. If you have a question, give me a call at 844-44-Dr. Joe. Leon, how can we make your day better?
Hello, Dr. Joe. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Excellent. Welcome.
I know you were just talking about cravings, but I have a different kind of question, if I may.
No problem at all. We always welcome any question.
Okay. My question is actually for a friend. She has a 17-year-old son who's been dealing with some issues of passing his stool, and he's actually been diagnosed with an ulcer in that area. And is there anything nutritionally that she can do for him to alleviate that?
Absolutely. No. If you have ulcers in the rectal area, if you have fissures in the rectal area, passing stool, of course, is very painful. And so what you do is you don't want to pass it. And so then you get more constipated. Right. So something like Dr. Joe's intestinal cleanser works very well for loosening the stool and getting everything moving. Soaking. Got to get a tub if you can, but even a sink if you had to. Something that's really sturdy that's going to hold you weight. Fill it up with warm water and Epsom salts, and you can soak your backside in there. It's called a sitz bath, and that's very good as well. And something else is if you have a pinched nerve in the low back, that's the nerve that controls the rectum. And so many times people have issues with their digestive system and their rectum and their bowels. If we adjust the low back, we open up the nerve supply to that area. As far as topically go, we can use extra virgin coconut oil and rub it on the area. Now, if it's a fissure, if it's actually a tear and not just an ulcer, sometimes doctors have injected a Botox into the area and paralyze the muscles a little bit so that the two torn sections can come together and heal. If it's a bad fissure, you may have to go get it cauterized. Again, no big deal. You go into the doctor's office, they cauterize it, you walk out, you're fine. But it's not something you want to ignore, because if you stop moving the bowels because it hurts, that can lead to some real serious issues.
Right. Okay.
All right, so we got a lot of different things we can try. My pleasure, Leon. Thanks for listening. I do appreciate it. And folks, if you have a question, you can give us a call at 844-44-Dr. Joe. We're talking today about beating your cravings. Now, sometimes what happens is you get in a little awkward situation. Somebody will say, oh, my gosh, I made this cake for you. I made these cookies for you. I want you to try it. And so now I'm a vegan. I'm not asking you to be a vegan. Never have. But I remember years ago, I had this one patient, older woman, and she made me some chocolate chip cookies, and they just looked spectacular. And it was right around Christmas time, and she gave me, she says, Dr. Joe, thank you so much. Because of you, I was able to walk, and I wasn't able to walk before, and I'm able to digest my food again, and I'm feeling so much better, and I'm actually feeling younger. And she says, I made these cookies for you. It's my special recipe. And I said one of the stupidest things I ever said. And I've said some stupid things. And I said, what's in them? And she said, oh, there's butter and eggs. And I said, oh, I don't eat animal products. Thank you so much. Her face, her jaw almost hit the ground. She was so sad because she put love into this as a gift to me. And I learned a very valuable lesson is when somebody gives you a gift, the response is, thank you. That's it. You don't have to explain anything to them. Thank you so much. This is so sweet. This is wonderful. And I should have taken the cookies, put them in a back room, and said thank you, wrote her a thank you letter, and moved on. But I was stupid. But I learned a good lesson that day. So what you need to do then is if somebody gives you something and you don't have the opportunity to just say, hey, I can't eat it right now and move it aside, take a bite or two, say, oh my gosh, this is so good. I want to save this for later. And then put it aside. This way you don't hurt anybody's feelings. We're trying to be nice to everyone. And then you can have 1 or 2 bites, and I'm sure it's going to be spectacular. And then when you take it, don't leave it around. Because if you leave it around, you're going to eat it, if you're like me anyway. So what I have to do is I have to throw it away. Cruel? Yes. But if somebody gives you a gift, they just want to be appreciated, say thank you, and you move on. But if I have it in the house, I'm going to eat it. I remember years ago, somebody made me something, I think it was chocolate chip cookies again, now that I think about it. And I had it in my pantry, and I was sitting there watching TV, and it's almost like I could hear them calling me. Joey, I'm in the pantry. Come eat me. And I was like losing my mind. So at the time, I had a stream in my backyard, and I took the cookies and I threw them into the stream. Because if they were there, I was going to eat them. And I couldn't go get them out of the trash. Put them in the trash, I'll dig them out of the trash. If you have real bad cravings, and at the time I did. Stress is a big issue. Because when you have stress, it raises something called your cortisol level. Cortisol is a hormone that's released by the adrenal glands. And when your cortisol level skyrockets, you start getting hungry. Because when the body's under stress, the body says, I'm going to have a lot of stress. I'm going to need a lot of fuel. You better eat. So if you're under a lot of stress, you have that emotional eating thing. We need to address that. And many times, if you're under stress, the adrenal glands, the glands that produce the cortisol, can burn out. If the adrenal glands burn out, that's a phrase. They never really totally burn out. But they start to malfunction. And one of the things you see is bags under the eyes. If you have bags under the eyes, that could be a sign your adrenals are not working. And then I adjust the nerve supply to the adrenals right in the mid-back, and then we get you on some adrenal supplements like Eleuthero, Withenia, and, of course, Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. That's always the go-to supplement I think everybody should be taking. And those are on my website, drjoeesposito.com. You can get them on Amazon, too. Hey, folks, got to go to a break. If you have a question, 844-44-Dr. Joe is the number here at the studio. We'll be right back. Thanks for tuning in. Certainly appreciate you taking time out of your day. We're talking today about beating cravings because we all get them, and we don't know what to do about them. And one of the things that helps tremendously is getting enough sleep. Now, how many people are sleep deprived? Raise your hand. A lot of you. Yes, everybody here in the studio, I think, raised their hand. If you work in radio, you get tired. So I don't get tired too often, though. Sleep is important. And what happens is you don't need a lot of energy when you sleep. So one of the tricks that I like to do, and this is also a great way to help lose weight, by the way, is do something called intermittent fasting. I cover this in my new book, Prescription for Extreme Health. And intermittent fasting is kind of cool. What you do is, I don't plan it. I just kind of see how the day unfolds, and I'll say, okay, Tuesday night, let's say I went to work, whatever. I recorded shows, and now it's like, I don't have any plans tonight. Do I go home and have dinner? Well, how about I go home and not have dinner? Because when you sleep, you don't need a lot of energy. And so you're putting food in your body, and if you give it a break, the longer the break you give it, up to 16 hours would be perfect, the better off you're going to be. So if you skip dinner, I find most people do, they sleep really well. Because when you're digesting food, it's taking up energy, but it's also giving you energy because that's what food does. And so it can kind of keep you awake. And then also if you have acid reflux, and a lot of people do, acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, that's usually a sign that the stomach is pushed up against the diaphragm. We need to pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. And if you have that and you eat a big meal or any meal, and you lay down, you don't have gravity pulling your stomach down anymore. It can push up against your diaphragm. And I find in every case I've ever seen in 32 years of practice, they have this when they have sleep apnea. The diaphragm has to drop down for you to suck air into your lungs. If the diaphragm isn't dropping down because the stomach is pushing up on it, you can't breathe. And so you wake up. And so we can do sleep studies like crazy, and I get that's fine to do a sleep study. I have no problem with it. But if you have the acid reflux or the heartburn or the stomach pushing against the diaphragm, you need to manually pull that away from the diaphragm. And if you want to know how to do that, go to my website. You can't do it yourself. Believe me, if I could, I'd do it to myself. But drjoeesposito.com, look under the articles, and you'll see the article on gastroesophageal reflux disease. 2 paragraphs, explains the techniques we do in our offices. Very, very effective. Let's go back to the callers here. Kathy, how can we make your day better?
Yes, Dr. Joe. I fell and injured my T12. I actually have a compression fracture probably about 2 months ago.
Okay.
And I understand from some things that I've seen on TV, on YouTube, that that disc on T12 can get back like it used to be. I don't make split square again or whatever. I don't know if it's right. If it can heal, in other words.
Well, depending how bad the compression fracture is. Compression fracture, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's like stepping on a tin can or an aluminum can, and it crushes down. T12,
that's what it looks like.
T12 is what's called the transition vertebrae. It's where your mid-back becomes your low back. It's where your thoracics become your lumbars. And the founder of chiropractic, Dr. D.D. Palmer, back in 1895, wrote that was the most misaligned vertebrae in the body because it's a transition area. So that's why when you fall, it's more likely to fracture because it's not quite a lumbar, it's not quite a thoracic. So it's a real common vertebrae to fracture. The nerves that come out of T12 control your kidneys and your adrenal glands. So it's really important that even if it's fractured, you get it realigned the best you possibly can to take the pressure off the nerves to the kidneys and the adrenal glands. Now, in all our offices, every table we have does a traction maneuver where it gently pulls apart the vertebrae because so many patients, I'd say most patients, have some arthritis in their spine. And arthritis is mechanical. The bones are out of place, rubbing up against each other, causing the disc to wear out. By putting people on these tables and gently stretching them out, over time, we find that we can rehydrate some of those degenerated discs and push the bones away from each other. So the question is, can you fix the disc at T12? It depends how much damage there is.
It could go back to the way it used to be, though.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible depending how much damage it is. But I've seen them go back, maybe not 100%, but a lot better than it was. Because unfortunately, at this time, it's going to get better, it's going to get worse. It's not going to stay the same. So if
it doesn't seem to be getting worse. I'm on my feet on a part-time job, 8 hours, 3 days a week.
Okay.
I seem to be doing okay. But I want to ask you with this thing about that. Well, if I came to have one of those, would I have to come to a lot of office visits, or would I be having to come there a lot, or?
It would depend. It really depends what we find. We base our treatment plans objectively on the patient. It depends on the patient because we don't just say everybody gets the same treatment plan. We say, okay, this is a general treatment plan, but we're going to modify it to meet your specific needs. So the answer is I don't know. The average treatment plan in my offices are about 60 days, but certainly not every day. And then at the end of 60 days, we like to reevaluate and see how we're doing.
And we can have you as a doctor. I can have you as my doctor.
I like to see the patient on the first visit. Now, I'm not always at the office. Offices, certainly. I can't be everywhere. And so all my doctors are handpicked by me and trained by me, and I believe are either as good or better than I am. But when you come in the first time, we'll try to get you to meet with me so I can kind of evaluate and see where we are.
Well, I'm also going to be living in Duluth, so it might work out better, huh?
That would be either way. We have offices Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge, so whatever works for you works for us.
Okay, let's get you to answer my question, though. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. All right, folks, and the number at the office, if I'm not on the air, the number is 844-44-Dr. and that number rings through to my offices, so that's easy for people to remember. I figure let's just make one number and make it simple. So we're talking today about beating cravings, and you got to get accountable. So you might want to team up with somebody and work on your cravings together. And just like they do with Alcoholics Anonymous and just like they do with other support groups, getting together with somebody who has the same issue as you, which, by the way, is everyone, is usually pretty helpful. Now, one of the things I find when I start getting my sugar cravings is I like to have something that's going to make me at least taste sweet, and I like using something called stevia. So a neat little trick you can do is lemon juice, water, and stevia, and make some amazing lemonade. Now, try to do organic lemons if you can, and if you get an organic lemon, scrub it real well with some soap and water, and then just puree the whole lemon and put it in there. Now, if you take lemon juice and water and stevia, you can make ice cubes with it, too. It makes a nice treat. Hey, folks, I got to run. My office number, 844-44-Dr. My website, if you want to get Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. My book, send me questions, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. Products also available on Amazon. And like me on Facebook, Facebook/Dr. Joe Esposito. Hey, thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show. Catch you next time.